So you wrote in your book that you were considered one of the best players in Massachusetts. You probably were one of the top 5 pitchers in the state. How do you then find out your baseball career is over?
Yeah, I was fortunate. In Massachusetts, the baseball talent wasn't as high as other states, and so I stood out. Throwing 90 miles an hour back then stood out, and I had scouts at my games, and it was, hey, this is the way my life's going to go. I'm going to have that opportunity, and I can't tell you how many times I dreamed. In the 37th round, the Boston Red Sox select, and it was always a late round. I was never going to be an early pick, so I always envisioned late. I pictured that over and over and over again, and I visualized it, and I was like, this is happening. And then going to Wofford, all of a sudden scouts at my games. I'm getting letters. And the New York Mets were sending me Christmas cards every year of Shea Stadium in the snow. And I was like, wow, like this can actually happen. And then boom, I started having shoulder pain. I tried coming back, and then boom, my arms kept getting bruised up when I was pitching. It was just terrible. And it was misdiagnosed. They kept giving me shots of cortisone. It just wasn't happening. And finally I got the MRI with the dye, and they said I had 3 complete tears. And I remember, because I was filming the documentary for my major that I created on leadership, and I became a character in that, coming back and see how I handled it, but also how the coaches. And I turned the camera right on me as I found out that I would never play the game again. And it was devastating. I was emotional. I got lost. I remember saying, my dad always told me to stay positive, but I don't know how I stay positive right now, because this was the one path that I saw in my life. And now, just like that, it's over. And
Still to this day, it bothers you?
No, to this day, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Oh, it's very easy for me to go back and say, if that didn't happen, and I stayed healthy and I got to play pro ball for a few years or whatever that is, my life, the impact, what we're doing, would never have happened. Not even close. It's the best thing that ever happened to me from a professional standpoint.
What do you think would have happened had you stayed with it?
I would have played ball. I probably would have gone into coaching.
Yeah.
So I would have played ball for a while. I would have coached. My dad was a coach, and I was around a lot of great coaches. And I would have been a fine coach. I was hardworking. But I wouldn't have changed the game the way that we've done and made the impact that I think we'd be able to do.
Do you remember back then when you got the news, what the lowest point was?
Well, I had to get surgery, and so I'm barely able to move my shoulder, and I couldn't shave, couldn't do anything, and I had no path, and I was finishing out my major, and it was kind of despair. It was just like, what's next? And I had an option to go into coaching. I was like, all right, I guess I'll try that. But going into something where you're not excited about is something that I never ever want to do ever again. Looking back, that was a really challenging time when you have a clear path, you have a clear vision, and then all of a sudden that vision's gone, and you don't have the next vision at that point. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have that next vision at all.
You wrote in your book that you miss playing in the worst way. Mm-hmm. Still?
I've been able to reframe that as a new stage. I miss being on stage and the opportunity to perform and to do something pretty special. I miss the parts of the game when you're fully in it, you're fully immersed in nothing else. You're not focused on anything else. I mean, I've had games when I'm pitching and I don't notice anything else other than the glove, and I'm just there, and I'm actually singing a song in my head. And I'm literally singing, it was always Send Me On My Way by Rusted Root. I don't know why I was singing that song, but that song always stayed in my head. And I would sing it through like 7-8 innings, and then I'd pitch a great game, and I was like fully into something. And now, more than ever, as we're in phones and everything else, being that fully immersed in something, that deep, deep thought and focus was pretty special. I think I miss those moments, but those were fleeting. All of a sudden, if you're having a game and you're getting shelled and balls going left and right, It's hard to do that. So it happened a few times. I miss those parts.
Any ability to recreate that in what you do now?
Oh, 1,000%. That's why.
I mean, but can you be fully present in it? Especially in your role, though, when you're running the whole...
Oh, yeah. It happens almost every game during yellow when the lights turn off and everyone in the stadium puts on their flashlights and they're all singing yellow, and I'm looking around. There's a moment where I get lost in what we've created and what we're a part of, and everyone doing something together. I get lost, and I always have to get myself out because I got to lead us in and finish the moment. But that happens almost every night because I can look around and feel it and see what we're a part of and feel like it's truly, truly special.